What's going on, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me. Hold on. Let me do it like this. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. I try to give myself a little bit more time. I knew I was going to run late. It's the end of September timeframe is just crazy for me. But hopefully everybody's doing well. There we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. I think y'all can see me. Hold on. Hold on. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba. But yeah, I think I saw Audi wants to come on. We're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to give an update on some lawsuits. We're going to show a couple of game trailers. Y'all know we do that. We're also going to talk about some expansion stuff from Microsoft. Nothing too heavy today. I do plan on doing the same thing where we do a members only section after the show, and in that I'll probably talk about my little nightmares video that I released to the members. So if you're a member and you haven't seen that, please by all means go watch that. I know a few of y'all have left comments, and if y'all just want to talk about like my thought on that, we can do that then. Also, I don't know if I'll talk about this. I know a couple of people reached out to me about some of the incidences last week involving the popular personality, Charlie Kirk. That would, if we were to have that conversation, it would definitely be after on the member only stream. So definitely, if you want to tune into that, or if you have any questions or anything really, and you want to like a more like Purple's like deep personal take or whatever, I'll talk about that kind of more personal stuff on that one after this show, because we now know how to do that. All right, but let me see what y'all are saying. I see a couple of people in chat right now. I see Audi. Yeah, Audi, no problem. Roster, I see ya. Just waiting for the new microphone. Oh, nice, Audi. I see Roster. Ade. Y'all were talking for a while. Ambi, there you go. Thanks for that. Wit. Hey, what's up, Wit? Thanks for your comment earlier. Hey, Geek, what's going on? Hey, Cherryman, what's going on? Denise, how are you? Denise, we missed you on Sunday. We had some pretty solid racers in both streams in both the Mario Kart Deluxe as well as Mario Kart World. So you'll have to come by this Sunday, as we had some pretty good ones, some pretty good racers there. Hey Mel, what's going on? Hey Zalek, how are you? Hopefully everyone's doing well. Like I said, we're gonna be talking some updates on some things, as far as where some court cases stand. We're gonna showcase some trailers, so obviously we had the Nintendo Direct last week. There's some other ones also that have been released since then, not necessarily Nintendo, just game trailers in general, and just some gaming news. I think we have something from each of the major companies, and yeah, we'll go from there. So hopefully you're doing well. And again, if you're a member and you haven't seen the Little Nightmares video, by all means go watch that. It's a solid 24 minutes, 25 seconds, and we're going to be doing maybe a deep dive, I'll talk about creating the video the theory I came up with, because it is a different theory. No one's really talked about that theory from that lens. So if you want to see what I'm talking about and you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you just want to kind of refresh yourself with that content, that'll be after this stream. All right. But let's get things started off. There's a couple of trailers that I'm going to show, and we'll go from there. 3 Nintendo trailers. Not right now. Nintendo trailers will probably be the next trailer break, but right now here's a couple that released that I think are decent. I think they're decent. Maybe not. We'll see. All right, here we go.
They found someone keeps away from another kid. Sending all the windows, faces, pictures, and that voice. Nobody's telling us what's happening. I just hope this is over soon. I love you, and I hope this for you. Just please.
PlayStation.
All right, obviously that was captured. Even though it's a PlayStation trailer, it's just right. Get it. It's going to be on PC. It'll be on Xbox as well. I started off as doing my live streams on horror, as many of you all know. And I still have like a soft spot for horror. I think horror is a really interesting genre. I've talked about that before as far as it's one of the few forms of media that has really like survived across timelines and time periods, from like silent film to novels to like radio to movies to like TV shows to games. Like I think it's a genre that's always been interesting, to say the least, on social commentary as well as the ability to set an atmosphere. And that one obviously is taking some very classical, like dark images and shadows. That was cool. I actually think the name of the studio is cool. I don't know if y'all caught that. It's called Puck Games. I haven't talked to those people, but I am curious, where did they get that name? But yeah, that is Cherry Man. I know. It looks a little different. It's probably short. I think the horror films, the horror games now, especially in that vein, usually like less than 2 hours. So if you're into that, I know it's Halloween. It's coming up. Like if you were here, like my mom has started decorating for Halloween since last month, and we've been gradually building. And so, and I think we're kind of like there. It's mostly inside, by the way. But there's a couple more things we still have to do. We're doing a Halloween party in like 5 weeks, but my mom is like, we spent all this money on decorations. We need to get the most out of it. So we start decorating for Halloween in August, and we keep it up through like the first week of November. So yeah, so that's what's going on in the Purple household. Why are we stuck in this one? What's going on? All right. So that's one. I'm going to show you a couple more trailers, and then we're going to get to the lawsuit updates, and then we're going to talk a little bit about like some Nintendo trailers. Then we're going to end on like some updates from both Microsoft as well as I know some more controversial stuff being talked about Hollow Knight here, but we'll talk about that and just get my thoughts on that. Then I'll open it up to you, and then we'll do the member stream. All right. Here's the next one. I actually haven't seen this one. Someone sent this to me, so this is the first time I've seen it. So let's see what this is about. All right, here we go.
What is life?
How did I end up in this place?
A frenzy. What is life? An illusion.
No, get back!
A shadow.
Still alive?
Thanks to the sun.
A fiction. And this life is but a dream. And dreams are only dreams.
Yeah, I don't know. So when I saw that right now, like it was the first time I seen it. You know what I got? I got like a Duke Nukem vibe. I know it's weird. Maybe it's that last scene with that shotgun, but I feel like, leaning into, like, I don't know, leaning into the first person shooter. Like, have you noticed that? Like a lot of these games are first person nowadays. I am the first to tell you, I prefer third person over first person. It has to be a really good first person game for me to like that side. Maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. Like, but for me, I find myself, and it could just be age. I want to say that. It could be age. And it could just be like my eyes are getting worse. Like I think y'all have noticed I've been wearing my glasses way like over the last year way more than my contacts. But I find first person to be kind of nauseating. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I think like the side scrollers, y'all have seen that. 2FD, you've seen that. Third person, I think you've seen even that. There was a certain level in what's that game called? South of Midnight. That I got really nauseated. Like I don't know why. So I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. We'll have to ask Holtz, one day, because Holtz is definitely someone who has a disability and they can't see certain things if it's too high def. But for some reason, first person makes me nauseated. I'm not saying that's in that game. Like the thing that I think that they have that potentially is a little bit better is the mechanic, just the breaking up of the frame with the mechanic of loading the weapon sometimes can like help me like piece it together. But yeah, that's Crystal. So if you're into that, if you're into, like I said, I hadn't seen that before. I loaded it up and I hadn't seen it. But let me know if you're into it and we can go from there. Hey, where the game is just the link. Ooh, we might be talking a little bit about the definition of games, Internet of Games, later on in our lawsuit updates. Ghostbusters vinyl, our laser just up high behind you. That, I'm glad you asked. So we will take a second for me to pull that down. So give me 1 second while I go get that. All right, I'm back. You like the elevator music? You like it there? All right. So as you can see, I took it down magically. So we will take this second to like talk about this new game to take Face Blue. Here we go. But just so you asked, this right here, Ghostbusters, it is a vinyl, if you can't tell. It is a vinyl, but it's not just any vinyl. It is actually the original vinyl to the 1984 Ghostbusters movie, and it is sealed and never been opened. So it's something that I treasure deeply, deeply, deeply. It was given to me by someone who was truly, 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 really, really close to me. And yeah, so that's what it is. But yeah. Hopefully, someone just joined the stream. Someone just joined backstage. But that's what it is. It is the original vinyl. So it's not a laser disc, the original vinyl to the first Ghostbusters movie. And it's still sealed. It's still from the record store. There's certain things that you can still see from it. It's like super cool. It's one of my most prized possessions. So yep, that's what it is. Great eye. Only third person POV that made me sick was Spider-Man. All the zipping and viewing change. Ooh, that sounds. You know which one I'm also kind of worried about? Mario Galaxy. Like I don't think I have it in I actually know I don't have the Mario Galaxy trailers in, but all that like going up and down. That one kind of, I was like, I don't know about that. Yeah. And, so yeah, you're on Roosevelt Island? Cherryman, you're on Roosevelt Island right now? You're at the Roosevelt Island Hotel? Seriously? No, you're not. Are you? Let me know if you are. Go and put it back then. I will. I put it up here. It should be good. I will put it back, but it is, maybe one day I'll do like a members only stream. Maybe that's what we'll do one day is, kind of my collectibles. Like I have them kind of all down here different ones. You'll have seen some of them. So, but there's other stuff over here. There's stuff over there. I have like an actual. I collect champagnes and whiskeys, so maybe I'll showcase that. And I collect watches, as I've told y'all before. I'm just looking at all, I have different things. But yeah. So hopefully everyone's doing well. Watching from Geeks Rug Ally. Wait, no, you're not. You're at Roosevelt Island right now. You're at the Graduate at Roosevelt Island. Geek and Chariot Man. You're at the Graduate Hotel at Roosevelt Island. I don't believe y'all. Take a picture and post it in the Discord. Y'all, they are literally like 300 meters away from where I used to live. Like, if I had known that, oh my good, they are. They're at the Graduate Hotel. Oh, that's so cool. I used to that's where I would go for, that's usually where I would go to clear my thoughts. I used to have some really good, when it first opened, because it opened during the pandemic. Oh, that's so cool. Why'd y'all not tell me? Why don't not tell me? Oh man, Shinobi's on my list. Oh, Shinobi's great. All right. I'm getting too excited. Why'd they not tell me? I know the owner or the former owner. I don't know if, when you said Graduate by Hilton, I don't know if it was Hilton before. I know they were trying to do stuff, but they were struggling. But I think it's a cool view of the city. If y'all do get to go to New York City, the Graduate Hotel is on Roosevelt Island, where I told you I used to live. And it gives you this very unique view of the city that you normally don't get because it's in the East River. And so you get to see Long Island City and out into Queens, as well as into Manhattan and Midtown. And then at the very tip, you can see World Trade Center stuff. So that's super, super dope. Super dope. I'm so excited for y'all. So yeah, putting the reticle up and increasing the frame rate, removing motion blur and bloom will all help with motion sickness. I hear you. Sounds like too much work though. This came under expected. This came under expected. What do you mean under expected? All right, so that's that. So thank you for the detour. Got one more game to show you, then we're going to talk about Nintendo stuff. Lawsuit stuff. We're going to talk about lawsuit stuff, and then we'll talk about Nintendo stuff, and then we're going to talk about Microsoft stuff. How about that? All right, here we go. Last one. Also, I haven't seen this, so you'll get my live reaction to what I think about this right now. I have not seen that. It was uploaded, but I haven't seen it. All right, here we go.
Emily, Ravenstone, museum curator.
It's been a while since someone new came around.
Reason for your visit?
I'm looking for my uncle. He went missing.
He's always been a little strange, if you don't mind me saying.
It's locked.
Welcome to Dimhaven. Please complete our mandatory survey before proceeding to the visa office.
Curiosity was a fire, Miss Ravenstone. Most people get burned.
Reach out when you have a safe line.
You have no idea how much danger you're in.
Dimhaven, kind of little play on the point and click genre with a story. I don't know. I kind of do find those games unique enough. I like stories, so I actually might play that. Not gonna lie, it looked like it had a story. It looked decent. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Deutsche facilitating. Oh my goodness, y'all are getting political. I'm so sorry. Geek, you gotta say at purple. Man, I'm so disappointed. First of all, Geek, the fact that you're in New York, right? Because we've done a get together. We did one with, obviously, we did one with first was surprise birthday celebration, and that was with Holtz, Jay, Cowboy, as well as Cowboy's wife, right? Then we did one with Wit and Rouster. That was in Jersey. And then there's obviously like the graduate. I like the graduate. Like I said, I think it's pretty cool what they did for Roosevelt Island. So I don't know. It's a Thursday though, so maybe I wouldn't. I don't like going into the city on Thursdays. But I will if I have to. But I don't like to. All right. So with that said, let's get into some stuff here. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is a recap of the Tencent and Sony PlayStation lawsuit. So if you recall during that lawsuit that we had Sony suing Tencent because of Horizon and this other game that Sony claimed was the Slavic clone of Horizon. At the time, I told y'all what I believed was going to happen was that even though Sony has on its face value the claim, right? They look very similar. Tencent's very strategic in the fact that they are doing something called a moving target strategy. Now, remember that. We're going to come back to that. And a moving target strategy means that you gradually start changing little things to try to negate the lawsuit of the person suing, right? But at the same time, I also start to hint that Tencent had some strengths in their argument besides most of the media saying that there weren't any strengths. One of the things I said was that Tencent most likely would argue what Sony is trying to sue on is actually part of just a bigger genre of like game, like red-haired heroine, like machines who are robots, this type of world. Like I said, like Tencent's going to pick this apart and kind of start to say, where is the line between what is truly Horizon and what is kind of in the, what you would call like everybody could use it, right? Fair use place. And so what would you know? Tencent has responded. And here's the response. They say, Tencent responds, obviously it's translated. Sony's complaint tellingly ignores these facts. Instead, it tries to transform ubiquitous genre ingredients into proprietary assets. So what does that mean? That means that they're trying to say that what defines the genre that Horizon Zero Dawn or the Horizon franchise sits into, what defines that, Sony is trying to patent that. And you can't necessarily patent an idea. You can patent the expression of the idea, right? You can trademark, well, trademark's more like a saying, but that's what they're saying, right? The second thing, by suing over an unreleased project that merely employs the same time-honored tropes embraced by scores of other games released both before and after Horizon, like Enslaved, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Far Cry Primal, Far Cry New Dawn, Outer Wilds, Biomutant, and more, Sony seeks an permissible monopoly on genre conventions. So as you can see, Tencent right now is saying they are taking little things, every little thing that Sony threw at the wall, they are now showing other games that have then also encroached on this idea of what Horizon or what Sony is trying to say makes up their lawsuit, what they're trying to say that Tencent has copied. What I totally believe to happen, still is in this case, is most likely Tencent's going to change just enough, right? Because Tencent has always wanted to partner or always wanted to license out this with Sony. And so you can see that they're going down this rabbit hole, which I thought that they were going to go down, which was, hey, Sony doesn't own all of this. Some of this is definitely fair use and falls into the open domain to use. Now, I totally expect Sony to say, yeah, right, but when you do this, and this, that is ours, right? And I think like that's where you're going to start to see the battle. I fully expect this to eventually be settled like in some confidential thing. Sony's going to probably put some type of stipulations on where Light of Mortrium can be sold, also what rights they have to that, like can it be put in a movie and so forth. And I believe Tencent's eventually going to launch this game, right? There may be some differences in the person's hair color. There may be some differences in some weapons and sound effects. But if you're looking forward to this game, you will get your chance to play this game in probably the next 24 months. That's just how I see it playing out. But as you can see, the back and forth is starting to happen, and you're starting to see those defenses that I said Tencent actually have from the very beginning. You're starting to see Tencent actually lean on that. So, not going to say I was right, but I was right. So we'll see. And didn't hit me up. Really, Geek? I'm so sorry. I haven't been in Houston in so long. Because I moved my mom up. Oh no, Rouster. Well, you could celebrate your dad. When I go, I celebrate my dad's as well. I actually usually spend like an hour at his grave just talking. It's kind of, I don't know. I start crying and laughing at the same time. I won't ever be able to come to New York City now. My phone is basically an instant attention pass these days. Oh man, I don't want to know what's on there, Marcus. I'm mega tired. What up? Hey, Obi, get some rest, Obi. You can always catch this on the replay. You can always catch this on the replay. As well, and Obi, you're a member, so if you are a member-only stream, you can catch that on the replay too. But thanks for coming by, Obi. Thanks for coming up. Mech Retro Futuristic or something. It's something. It's definitely something. Oh, my brother went to go lift today too. All right, so that is that update on that lawsuit. So as you can see, Tencent is digging in, and they're trying to signal to Sony that you're going to eventually need to settle. We just got to figure out at what point. But I think this is going to continue to go back and forth. All right, but we're here. We're going to talk a little bit about Nintendo. All right, so let's get everybody caught up. Here we go. Alrighty. Oh, wait. All right. So there's actually two. Let me make sure I get these in order. All right. So the thing about this is in this one is that Nintendo, if y'all will remember, Nintendo has sued Palworld maker Pocket Pair. And what they sued them on was a huge list of things similar to what Sony did for Tencent. And one of those things that got a lot of attention was this monster capturing mechanic. All right. And since then, Nintendo Pocket Pair has defended it. Now, if you're me, you would have I don't know if I would have really wanted to go down this rabbit hole, but I'm going to talk a little bit about what Nintendo actually has as their ultimate thing in their back pocket, and what what Pocket Pair, why they have a couple of aces up their sleeve too. It's not as clean cut as Palworld is going to win. It's not clean as cut as Nintendo's going to win. So theoretically, this is what they're doing. And if you look at most of the Western markets, here's a headline right here. Nintendo reportedly gets even more obnoxious about patent law by taking mods aren't real game stance against Dark Souls 3 mod that could invalidate its Palworld lawsuit. So let's catch you up on what's going on here. Nintendo sued Palworld. Think of it like that, right? By suing Palworld, they're saying hey, you can't. Now, granted, they didn't sue him on art. They sued him literally on game mechanics, which is a very daring lawsuit to begin with. Pocket Pair has said, no, we're going to fight this. Now, why would they do that? Well, one, if Nintendo actually has the patent, they are well within their right to sue. Now, we're going to get more into that idea about they have the patent. Palworld, though, they are trying to define, they do not want to have to pay out. They do not think that they actually did anything wrong, and they do not want to get pushed around. However, similar to Tencent, Palworld is also utilizing a move and target strategy. They are changing certain things within the game. They're not changing everything, but they're changing certain things. And I would argue Palworld is further from that line that Tencent went up to than Tencent is, right? Like I think Pearl World is further along. However, Palworld is using a different tactic in court. And it's somewhat similar, but different. As where Tencent is saying like, hey, all this belongs to the same genre of like mech, machine, sci-fi, whatever. Palworld is saying like, these patents shouldn't even exist, right? And so when you file a patent, you file a trademark, you file an IP or file for anything to have IP protections, one of the stipulations is that it has to be enough to be enforceable. You can't like just say, "Oh, I want to like trademark the word hamburger." You just can't do that because it's like too common, right? And so this is kind of similar to the Tencent defense of like, "Hey, this genre is too common in the genre." So Palworld is saying like, like these game mechanics it's too common. This patent should have never been given. And that's a legit criticism. You see, this is a legit defense a lot of times. To give more merit to that argument, we see Nintendo over the last few months have changed some of the wording in their patent. And they've changed it to actually make the wording a little bit more ambiguous, which again, usually you want to become when you're talking about patents, you want to become a little bit more narrow in your definition of what you're actually patenting, not wider. So this is almost like as if Nintendo is realizing that some of their legal argument is on shaky ground. So you're like, cool, Palworld's going to win. Not so fast. And the reason I say not so fast is because of this situation, right? Hey, Ambi, thanks for that. Thanks, Ambi, for the gifted, and also Carlos Larry. Thank you earlier for doing the super chat. So when we talk about this, the thing about this article is like one of Palworld's defenses is similar to Tencent in the fact that they're like, look at mods. Mods use this all the time, and these existed before the patent. So this is like a defense of saying the art was in the sphere before their patent, therefore that patent should be invalidated. Which makes sense. Like, hey, if the mod had this capturing device like Dark Souls 3 did, then we should be allowed to have the capturing device. Nintendo has now said, not so fast, Palworld, a mod is not a game. And that is what I want to talk about right now. Is this idea that a mod is not a game in the defense that Palworld is using right now. So, y'all may be like, no, a mod is a game. But here's where Nintendo actually, in this whole entire lawsuit, I think Palworld has a little bit more leverage, but in this particular argument, Nintendo has the leverage. And the reason why Nintendo has the leverage is simple. And it has to do a little bit of what we talked about before, but a little bit about legality and tech definitions. And Nintendo, again, probably one of the best legal teams in all of entertainment. What is a game? What is a mod? Just because you can play a game through a mod doesn't actually make it mean it is a game within the legal definition. And one of the primary reasons that is, and there's actually two things that Nintendo's going to probably argue with, is that A, when it comes to mods, those are on PC, and they're like, none of our games are on PC, right? And if you are using a mod on PC, the only reason you could actually use their game as a mod on PC is because you already own the game. Therefore, from a legal standpoint, a mod is dependent on you already owning the game. You already having the license to use the mod or to use the game, and or you need the base game to run the mod. Like, to actually have a game, you have to have something that was developed and published like a game. You can't, and that's not how mods work. That narrow definition of what a game is is why Nintendo's going to probably win on this count that Pocket Pair is throwing out. I think overall, Pocket Pair is going to win on invalidating some of the claims that Nintendo is making. They're going to probably win on invalidating some of the patents. I totally think that's going to happen, but they're going to lose on some. And so similar to what is happening with Tencent and Sony, I think it's going to happen with Pocket Pair and Nintendo. And most likely what's going to happen is Pocket Pair is eventually going to come to some agreement. They're going to pay Nintendo some amount of money, and Nintendo is going to give them some type of permission to use whatever. It's going to be a confidential agreement. We're not going to know what that is. But I totally feel like eventually the courts are going to say, I think the headlines are going to look like this over the next few months. Courts side with Pocket Pair. But they're not going to side with Pocket Pair on everything. But the articles are going to make it seem like Pocket Pair won on everything. But some of the most crucial details, they're going to probably still give it to Nintendo because of this definition of what a game is. And Nintendo has the pockets to outdo Pocket Pair. And so Pocket Pair is going to probably have to come up out of pocket on something. Get it? Pocket Pair coming out of pocket. But that's what I totally think is going to happen. I don't think it's going to be a clear vindication for either one. And for Pocket Pair, in my opinion, they need to start focusing on their game more. And so I think that's actually going to come sooner rather than later. I think as soon as Pocket Pair wins on something, as soon as the court signal or in testimony, the judge shows that they're leaning towards Pocket Pair, I think Nintendo's going to then approach Pocket Pair behind closed doors and say, look, we'll take away our lawsuit because it's going to cost you way more. But we're going to win on these, and we know you're going to win on those. So let's just cut it down the middle. What I think is going to happen. But I might be wrong. Shader patenting coming, maybe. Man, listen, this is why I have PC to mod, or no more, no less. And no, not cheating mod skins mode like my Anna and TK. Tekken 8 is Rogue from X-Men. And oh, wow. So you really do mod, Obi. Shoot Spider-Man. PC had Wilson Fick swinging through the seat. That was yeah, so you use it to mod. Totally get it. But you need the game to mod. That's that definition of the game. See, I think Paul will win. As Pokemon had almost 20 years to pen that. It doesn't matter what that means. It doesn't matter what you're saying. It doesn't matter. I get what you're saying. Paul most likely will not win indefinitely. They did cross the line. The fact that they're using, and the judge won't see it that way either, right? Because there's something here. There's actually something more powerful than a patent, right? Just because, if you were to patent Just Do It by Nike, Nike has let that trademark lapse. But the reason why the court would side with Nike, if you try to say, oh, I have Just Do It, now Nike has to pay me, is because it's well-known fact that Just Do It belongs to Nike. So I wouldn't get too caught up on the date of the patent, because that's just a legal thing. What is more important is, has Nintendo used that in the past? And has it been known to be a Nintendo feature? Patents matter. They definitely matter. But it doesn't matter as much as, has Nintendo used that a feature in their game? In that regard, Nintendo will win. But Power World has a legit argument in the fact that they're going to say, this is part of the genre of monster capturing games. You cannot patent a mechanism of it. But this lawsuit's more than that, by the way. This lawsuit isn't just that. The lawsuit's more than that. So Power World will win on that, most likely. Or the judge will signal that they're going to win on that. But Nintendo, like I said, the fact that Power World is utilizing this argument, this is a very weak argument. It's a very weak argument to point to a mod as your prior art argument. See here, What is Tencent pointing towards? Tencent is pointing towards, sure enough, legit games. Enslaved, The Legend of Zelda, Far Cry, Outer Wilds, Biomutant. They are showcasing a legit amount of like games that have publishers that you have to buy, that have shown up on stores and so forth and so on. Power World is pointing towards something that is legally not a game. A mod is not a game. By definition, a mod is not a game because theoretically, legally, to use a mod, you have to own the game. A game has to be standstill. It can't be something you have to own. Therefore, something like a DLC is theoretically not a game. And there's a lot of like legal consequences because of that. Because in theory, you have to own the base game to run the DLC. Just like in theory, you have to own, unless you're Neos, you have to own the game to run the mod. And so their defenses right now are on shakier ground. This defense is on shakier ground than I think their defense of just saying that's part of the genre. That's part of game making. And I think you see Nintendo shifting the goalposts on some of their patents, but some of them, they are on very solid ground. Like, again, I don't think it's clear cut. And the fact that Paul Rold is going to the media, anytime someone goes to the media, by the way, first over the courts, I already feel like they know that they're not as strong. Do you like that one? I think they're also just making bad examples with mods, but there are games they could point to. They are. But this is the thing. Like, there's more than that. They're going to win on some. They're not going to win on all. Like I said, I think at the end of the day, Paul Rold is going to lose some. They're going to have to pay something. Nintendo is going to lose some patents. But to save face for both, like if you're Power World, you want your game to be out in the market. If you're Nintendo, you want people to recognize that your patents have teeth. So usually they're going to be able to win on both. Like both sides are going to lose on something. Like Nintendo's not going to get an injunction to stop this game. Just like I don't think Sony's going to get an injunction to stop Light of Mortrium. Power World is going to have to change some things in their game. And they've already done this, by the way. Power World has already done this. So it's not like they have not started changing certain things in their game. But this, again, just as I did that deep dive with Tencent versus Sony, Nintendo is really, especially in the age of AI, especially in the age of like, you have different platforms like Roblox, which is just a totally different platform than like a console, like a different storefront. Nintendo is trying to define what exactly is their legit IP. And if they can just define a little bit of that or set some precedent here with Power World, that gives them grounds to then help define it later on with other companies. And I totally hear the argument, well, Nintendo's just anti-consumer. They're not allowing. I understand that, but there's also the argument of like Nintendo like at what point at what point are other people stealing? And I think Dalek, you had a great point of this when you were doing your live stream. At what point is it stealing? Like if you create something, if you take someone else's idea, and you just change it up a little and then sell it, is that stealing? Like you can make an argument. Like if you're the person who owns the material and you created it, do you want to defend it? Like, do you want at least some recognition of it? And I think it's hard for us to see as like our small creating status, right? But you can be rest assured if someone takes my Little Nightmares theory, which by the way, please go if you played Little Nightmares, go watch the video because I will talk about it in the members only stream after this stream. You can guarantee if someone takes that and then sells it as their own idea, like they make a book off of it or they make some psychological analysis off of it, I'm going to be hurt. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be a little upset because I spent like a lot of time like thinking through that and making sure it's logically sound. And so for me, like a lot of times it's like my ideas and thoughts are very important to me. I don't mind if you take, just like let people know where you got them. And I think if you're a game company, it's important to like, if there is a thought or idea, like, where's that line? Like, where's the line? Again, that's what they're defining here. I think both win. I think both lose. I think some of the patents don't make sense, but at the same time, let me make it very clear. When Palworld first came out, there wasn't one person who did not say, that looks like Pokemon. There was not one person who said that. Everybody said, oh, they're going to get sued. And so if you look at it from that lens, it's like, okay, they do kind of they owe something to Nintendo. What they owe, I don't know. But I think the way Nintendo went about it got their attention, but was able to do two things at one time. Was it one? It was like, they didn't sue on art style, right? But they sued on game mechanic, which at the end of the day is kind of a little bit more important. Is actually way more important to game development. So wherever that goes. But two, they're setting the path forward going forward. I don't know. I think, like I said, this one I don't agree necessarily fully with Nintendo, but I also don't necessarily agree fully with Palworld. I'll say it like that. But wait, doesn't that mean that Nintendo can't have been compromised if a script can be run on PC? Let me see where you said something. If Nintendo is on PC, how can they possibly claim that Palworld is a copy? Well, Palworld is using that as a defense, right? So the reason why that you're right to a degree, right? That someone wouldn't confuse it. But the thing is, this is about the definition of a game, not about the definition of like like they're stealing something. Like this one, the markets matter. This one, the markets matter. This one, it's less about where the game is, but about the definition of what a game is. Because Palworld is using this as a game. They're using a mod as a game. And Nintendo's going to say like, nah, you can't use... The only way you can do this is you have to have a PC. No, I guess not every mod's on PC, but many are. They're going to say, this is a mod that's on a PC, but you have to own the game off. You have to own the game somewhere. Whether that's on PC or console or something, it has to come down to that. And you can only do it on PC, right? Theoretically, you could run a game on without anything else on console. But you can only run a mod, theoretically, on PC if you own the game. That makes sense. Maybe I'm confusing myself. I say all that to say I just think it's a weak defense that they're using right here. That's all. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not always right. We'll see. Maybe they win on. I don't think they're gonna win on everything. Like I said, I 90-something% of the time people settle. I think that's what happens here. But keep it coming, Zay. Like I know you have a lot of energy for this topic. All right. But speaking of Nintendo, I know, great segue, right? What is the most exciting game I saw from the Nintendo Direct? I will show you. And then I will show you the second most exciting game. And then we'll talk about some gaming news. Then I'm going to tee up Audi. So if Audi, you're in chat, let me know. Alrighty. With that said, what is my most exciting game I'm looking forward to? Here we go.
The latest entry in the Mario Tennis series is hitting the court on Nintendo Switch 2. Mario Tennis Fever. Use top spins, slices, lobs, and other familiar shots. But now you can also slide and use other fancy footwork with new defensive maneuvers. And swing into action with new equipment called Fever Rackets. Keep a rally going to build up your fever gauge. Then unleash a fever shot. Freeze the court with the Ice Racket. Summon mushrooms that shrink your opponents using the Mini Mushroom Racket. Or duplicate yourself with the Shadow Racket. There are 30 Fever Rackets, each with their own abilities. Pair them with 38 playable characters, the most in series history, to find your own strategy. Let's see the game modes being served up. A talking flower provides riveting commentary in tournament mode. Aim for the top by completing different objectives in the Trial Towers mode. Play matches with unexpected rules in Mix It Up mode. Even some where you'll experience wonder effects. In the online modes, choose between casual play with customizable rules in Online Room or Go for Glory in ranked matches. You can even gently swing your Joy-Con 2 controller like a racket for a more authentic experience in Swing mode. Plus, after encountering monsters on a remote island, Mario and friends are transformed into babies, kicking off a series of unexpected events in the game's Adventure mode. With their tennis skills gone, the babies will need to learn how to play and defeat the monsters to return to normal. Mario Tennis Fever launches on Nintendo Switch 2 February 12th.
Oh my goodness. So that's Mario Tennis. I'm super excited. I'm actually really excited because I got to see Zalix post as well as Geek. I'm super excited because I got to see my old apartment in that photo. So I was like, my old apartment. But that's Mario Tennis. I'm really looking forward to it. I thought it was kind of cool how you can use the Joy-Cons. I'll probably be getting that game. I thought that was kind of cool how there's a story mode in the tennis game. So there was also old tennis games that I used to play on like the Nomad, or I played the first Mario Tennis on 64. And so usually those story modes have to do with like a career progression. So I'm looking forward to this one because I'm like, what is it going to actually deal with? Is it like a career? Like, am I building up something? I wish they did have a story mode on Mario Kart World. So maybe this is foreshadowing something. And I saw your picture, Geek. So cool. Super cool that y'all are talking to each other. I'm so awesome. I'm always here. I saw that Zalek. I saw that. Thank you, Audi. I saw that Zalek. You gave me some homework. Let me go look at it. Like I said, I think just from my standpoint, I think it's going to eventually settle. I don't think Power World's going to fully win. Hardly ever happens like that. I read recently that Mortal Instruments book series started out as Harry fan fiction about a romance between Draco and, I've never seen Harry Potter. I've never read it, never seen it. So you're not even going to mention the Virtual Boy adapter or the cardboard. I didn't have Virtual Boy. Like I didn't have it. I'm not going to get it. Jeff is though. Jeff's going to get it. He's going to get a Switch. I think it said you could play it on the regular Switch, right? So if y'all didn't see that there was Virtual Boy, like that red thing that's like 3D. It's not even 3D. I never understood Virtual Boy really, but they are going to create a Virtual Boy adapter that you can connect to the Switch and play games. Because that's what it had. But a lot of people are excited, I guess. Simple Turn, you gonna get this? Jeff said he's gonna get it. I think Ambi's gonna get it. I think there's certain people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. And I think that's cool if you like that, or if you wanted to experience that, that they're offering that. Let me say it like that. I think I would be more excited if they gave me like a modern day Power Glove. You know what I mean? But I guess you could do that already with the Joy-Cons in a way. But I think like a modern day Power Glove would have been like more cool, right? Especially for like a game. And I don't even like punching things. But like Donkey Kong, like that would have been a modern day Power Glove situation. I'm not saying like the Power Glove, like you could put in like codes and stuff, but like I think I would have been cool. That's what I would have been excited about. Nobody had a virtual. I thought so, but I guess some people are excited about it. I'm getting the Virtual Boy. I enjoyed it back in. See, I told you, Geek's getting it. It's more of a parallel 2D, which is 2D that tricks the brain in believing it's 3D. Well, if it looks 3D, I'm fine with brain tricking, right? I'm fine with that. I didn't have it. Like usually if I collect things, I personally don't like to have a lot of things around. So it's like the first thing when I think about the Virtual Boy connector, I'm like, where am I going to put that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm like, that doesn't really go back there. Like, all of that is like collector type of stuff. You know what I mean? Limo from Robolica. I always got to say that. Robolica made that, y'all. So it doesn't go there. It doesn't go with my plants. It doesn't go with the aquariums. Like, where am I going to put that? Like, am I just going to put it behind the TV like the Xbox and PlayStation? I don't know. That is a bigger problem for me than the actual thing. I don't care about the cost. I don't care about, like, the bigger thing is, where would I put that? It needs to be. We'll watch up. Oh, you know, really, Zaylik. Take care. Thanks, Zaylik. Hey, if y'all want to catch Zaylik, she streams tomorrow. She streams Monday too, but she streams Friday. That's when I can catch her usually. So go catch her. She's doing an awesome job. I actually think I did catch some of her Monday stream of Cyberpunk. But yeah, that's Zaylik. Go catch her. She does a great job. She does awesome stuff. Virtual games may get it to experience it because I never got to experience it. So you're going to get it. Simpleton, you're really going to get it. This is what I'm talking about. Y'all do not talk to me about cost of things if y'all are going to get things just because you're like, well, I guess I want it. Y'all do this all the time. You do this all the time. You'll talk about like, oh, that's not worth it. But how is a Switch 2 not worth it? But the Virtual Boy is worth it. How does that make sense? How's this making sense? Thank you, Ambi, for posting that. You're like, oh, it's not worth it. It's like bad graphics. But you're going to go get the Virtual Boy and get the Nintendo Switch Online premium subscription to play the Virtual Boy games. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like several of y'all are like, I don't want the Switch 2, but I want the Virtual Boy. Knowing that you didn't want the Virtual Boy 30 something years ago. Stop. Geek, what am I capping about, Geek? Geek, what am I capping about? I'm just saying. Oh my goodness. I'm just saying, like, what is Switch 2 is worth it. Chairman, I agree. It's worth it. I totally agree. Also, are y'all at the rooftop or are y'all downstairs? Let me know. Are y'all at the rooftop or are you downstairs? I think you're at the rooftop. I think y'all are at the... Man, y'all are having so much fun. Oh, that's such a cool... And it's a cool, nice day today. Oh, man. And Roosevelt Island's so cool. Let me know what you think of it. I'm so excited for y'all. Switch to is... I remember 3D World Runner where you could wear the blue-red 3D glasses to see in 3D. Y'all talking about glasses. Did you see Meta's coming out with some new glasses? What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think? Like, I don't have anything to talk about, like, as far as glasses stuff goes. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, I've always thought, like, having glasses and then having it be like, oh, this is where you can get to, like, it shows things on here. And it's, like, super intuitive. I think that's cool. Maybe I'm the only one, but I think that's cool. Hey, Linz, I'm getting my Switch 2 in December so I can play Metroid Prime 4. Speaking about Metroid Prime 4. All right, we're going to talk about a couple of more things really quick. All right. So we're going to showcase my second favorite Nintendo game that they showcased. Then we're going to talk about some news. And then I'm going to show you Metroid Prime 4. And then we're going to bring out an Audi. How about that? All right. Here we go. Second most look forward to game. It's a pretty game. I don't know what to say. Y'all know I like art style games. But I thought this was really cool what they were doing with this franchise. So here it is. Let's go.
One day, on the island where Yoshi and his friends live, a talking book named Mr. E suddenly falls from the sky. It looks like the book has information within its pages about unusual creatures. But it can't actually see what's written down. So Yoshi jumps in to help investigate. First, let's study this flower-like creature. We found it right away. It tastes kind of sweet. You can carry this creature on your back. Touch flower buds with it, and they'll bloom. As you wander through the book, you'll make all sorts of discoveries about the creatures you find. And those discoveries will be written down. Hey, we found some dandelions. Touch them and they'll scatter in the air. Oh no, that creature is stuck. It seems like the dandelions can absorb nutrients. Oh, they can even cause rocks to crack. Thanks to them, we were able to break the rock. It looks like there are still lots of unusual creatures residing within the book. A page-turning adventure awaits. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book launches on Nintendo Switch 2 next spring.
So how much do y'all want to bet that that game's going to be harder than Hollow Knight? I'm joking. I like the art style though. I'm excited because of the direction they took the art style. Obviously, it's a game that's meant for someone who's just getting into gaming, right? I don't know why when I see the Yoshis, I think of like puppies. Don't ask me why that is, but I do. And so, yeah, I probably will get that game. I probably will not beat that game. I think it'd be cool. I kind of want the storybook. Like, I feel like it's going to have something with a storybook. And I like stories, you know? I don't know. I'll be getting this game. Really, Linz? I'll watch you play it. But I think it'll have something like a storybook to go with it. About 3... What do you mean? About 350. About 350? What? And I saw that comment, Marcus. I saw that. If y'all want, we can talk more personal, like maybe off script topics. Like I said, in the stream, the member only stream after this stream, we will teleport everybody to that one. I have the ability to do that now, so we will be teleporting people to that, and yeah. So we'll do that. We'll do that later. They're going back to this SNES art style. SNES. I was like, what is SNES? Yeah, no, but I thought that hand-drawn, you know what I'm interested in? It wasn't this Nintendo Direct. We didn't talk about it on the show. It was a previous Nintendo Direct. And they showed the Mario Paint for Nintendo Switch Online. And I thought, given the fact that you now have the Joy-Cons, and Linz, I would be interested in you, like, you're an artist. Did you ever use Mario Paint? But I would imagine now, given everything that we can do as far as like a music simulator, as far as a paint simulator, as far as like just so many different things, would they like come back with like a Mario Paint? Like how they made that game, right? That game reminds me, like there was a PC Simpsons game. I can't remember what it was called, but it came out in like the mid 90s. And it gave you the ability to make like your own Simpsons episode. And it was a very much like Windows 95 type of game. But seeing that game and understanding like, you know, it's very simple mechanics and understanding that they already give you like things like Mario Maker, and they've now hinted at like Mario Paint, or they are doing Mario Paint for Nintendo Switch Online members. Could they like do something like that? Like, I think that would be kind of interesting. I don't know. But making it more like with the music, I don't. As Joy-Con mouse support, okay. I've been doing live streams with Mario Paint and drawing. I haven't seen that. Really? Oh my goodness, I haven't seen that. The last time I was on your stream, you were doing one of the was it Mario Party? You were doing like a party game. One of the Mario Party games. And then you had the racing one last week. I couldn't join that one, but I was told about it. I always see Rouster and Ambi talking about it. So that's how I know they're going on. But I need to join those. Okay, that's super cool. That's how much. Might have bet that it's harder than Hollow Knight song. Yeah, it won't be harder. 3.50%. I can see them doing that. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting, right? Like I don't know. It reminds me I just like that type of like simple art style. You're like, that's not simple purple. But to me it is. I've done it twice. I'll be doing more. No, Lens, you do awesome with it. I need to go back and watch it. Y'all check out Lens of Truth. You can go check out his Shades of Purple episode. Most of y'all caught it when he did it. But artists, phenomenal artists, right? And like professional artists, and just does amazing stuff. So now I want to go see this. Did a drawing of me on air like in 5 minutes, which was like crazy, and then did another video of like showing how he did it. Just a phenomenal creator in so many ways, and also very very friendly guy. So go check that out. Hey, Crow. So yeah. All right. So that was that. That was the second most look for 2K for the Nintendo Direct. Do you want to talk about these last two? Then I'm going to do the Metroid Prime, and then we'll let Audi on. How about that, Audi? Sound good to you? All right. Next thing here. All right. So Microsoft is moving into China, you know, and hiring a post for business development lead. Now, I like to say, this is like news that's not news to me. If you know anything about ABK Blizzard, you know, Activision Blizzard, they had a significant presence in China. The fact that there's a significant player base for World of Warcraft in China most likely means Xbox was already in China. When I see like business relations lead, I personally think they already had this role there. Like, you know, I did the breakdown of this before. Strength and expand and strength partnerships. I think this role's already existed. I don't think it's necessarily new. Especially given that we saw games like Wu Chang Fallen Feather. We're seeing games like Black Myth Wukong coming to Xbox. I think there's another one. I think it's not Phantom Blade, but there's another one I can't think of at the moment that's coming. Like, it just makes sense. It's already been there. Like, again, I don't think this is really news, but it seemed to be making the rounds in certain podcasts. So I thought I would address it in my opinion. But again, I don't know if this is like, I don't think this is what people are making out to be. Let me say it like that. But if you all think differently, let me know. And then I may push back. But let me know. And then the last thing that I want to showcase before we showcase the other video, is this one. Hell Is Us creative director Jonathan Jacques Bellier says Hollow Knight, Silksong, Shadow dropping release date was a little callous. Just a little. As the Grand Theft Auto 6 of indies, I wouldn't give it that much, but okay. To shadow drop something like this is a little callous. Both games released on September 4th. So a lot of people have been talking about this and saying like, a lot of people have been pushing back against Hell Is Us for saying that. My opinion are that these are very different games. And a lot of people would say, your game isn't even like Hollow Knight, blah, blah, blah. The one thing I would say about what gives his thing a little bit of truth is that there's only so much air in the room when you do have a game like Hollow Knight dropping. And why I say that is like the media coverage when Hollow Knight dropped, I think 2 weeks ago now? For like a week, all we heard was like Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight shut down Xbox or shut down digital storefronts. Hollow Knight sold this much. Hollow Knight is so hard. Even we covered Hollow Knight last week, right? We have not shown Hell Is Us since the Game Awards, right? We haven't shown it. There's a couple of games that released all in this window. We talked about another game, the Atari game that released the same day as Hollow Knight. So there is something to be said about by the fact that it dropped, that there was not like a lot of build up in a lot of people's launch plans. And so that's really what it comes down to. Other people's launch plans. Hollow Knight is totally within their rights to shadow drop. I also think, I think both things could be true. Like, right. I think they're definitely within their right. I think that, or all things could be true. I think that they're totally different genres. Like one does not necessarily impact the other. But I can also feel like a game like Hell Is Us is feeling like, we planned this launch over like a year and it took all the air out of the room for our game. So I think all of those things could be true. Is Hell Is Us Metroidvania? No, it's not. It's not. But the fact that you did not know that, Simpleton, I think proves their point. Were you thinking of Tides of Annihilation? Was that the one that came up from is that the one that came out from Atari? Because Atari dropped a Metroidvania last week. I don't think it was Tides of Annihilation. Maybe. I showcased it and I should know, right? It is not Tides of Annihilation. It is not. We have not shown Tides of Annihilation though. Oh, you're saying the game that looks like Hell Is Us? Potentially. Maybe it's just not a good game. Maybe, Simpleton. Maybe. But I think there's something to be said that like if you have your whole entire launch plan. So when you launch a game, usually there's like a lot of press you're doing. You're trying to get your press releases out. You're trying to get people the game ahead of time so they can write about the game. You're trying to do all this stuff and you're trying to find a launch window when no one else is launching. And so you prep for everything. Early September is usually not like, you have your, what comes out, like your FIFAs, your Madden, like EA has a lot of games that come out around that time. You're coming off of Gamescom, so you have some momentum building from that. This game drops, everybody's rushing to like cover it because like it is what it is. I'm not saying they're wrong to do it. But I'm also saying that Hell Is Us, other games most likely did not get the didn't get the limited coverage that they were already just planning on getting. They didn't even get that. So that can be frustrating for your game. What I would have said is if I was Hell Is Us, I would be like, we're having to delay our game because of Hollow Knight, and just been part of that like list of 10 games that we listed off last week because of the delay. And then everybody went like, oh, we know who you are. Or making it a bigger deal that you're going to launch anyway on September 4th. And people are like, I still respect, like, I would have made it something. I would have like played off of it somehow and not 2 weeks later. The Chinese link, action good. Maybe. I had to appeal Twitch muted audio on my stream today, even though Square and Disney give us the rights for music to be streamed and recorded for Kingdom Hearts, so that's always fun. I told you I don't like Square. I don't like Square, but you're saying Square gave you the rights, but you had to appeal Amazon Twitch. That's fair. I just usually cut it. They should blame Expedition 33 for selling 4 million copies and stealing their thunder. Stupid devs making great games. It's a totally different, but that's not. They're totally different game. For one, they're totally different time frames, right? Expedition 33 came out in what? April, March? So you can plan for that, right? You can't plan for Silksong, right? It's as if like, I would not say Silksong's Grand Theft Auto 6, right? I'm not going to say it's that. But even Grand Theft Auto 6 understands where they are. One of my biggest arguments against Silksong is that I do think that they've been a little, what they've done other companies couldn't do. That's both a blessing and a curse. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's within their right. But I'm also like, I understand. We all want to see game companies do well. Like, I think that's where, as a society, and maybe this bleeds into like some of my commentary for later after the show. As a society, we've got into this like thing about winners and losers. And it's like, oh, that sucks to be them. Or like, hey, they should have done. It's like, no, like, we need everybody to do well. You know, I totally believe that there's not this idea of like, if one person wins, another person can't win. Again, I think they're within their right to do it. I think there's other things that Hell Is Us could have done. Ideally, you would have liked to see like a little bit more coordination between the two. I think like coordinating is always a better approach to something than not. Talking is always a better approach to something than not talking. If you get my drift. If you think I'm talking about gaming, you're right. If you think I'm talking about something else, you're also right. That's all I would say about that one. All right. With that said, let me get the Metroid Prime 4 and then Audi, get ready because we're going to talk about your stuff. But I'm going to bring out Metroid Prime 4 because I know you know a little bit about this game. All right, here we go. So that's why do we have still there? So that's the Metroid 4 Prime. Geek, tell us what you like about it. Tell us what you like about it. You know what I mean? Only Metroid game I played was the one that was like a Metroidvania, the side-scrolling one that came out in like 2019. Only one I played. But let us know. Let us know. Like, are you gonna use your mouse? Like, do you like the story? Do you like the graphics? Do you like I like the music in it? And I know a lot of people are excited about it. Like I've said this before. I think by Christmas or by the holiday season, let me be inclusive of a lot of other people. By the holiday season, with Switch 2 and with the Virtual Boy, as I can see many of you wanted that, the Switch 2 becomes a much more compelling investment for some. And I think that's a good thing. I think that if y'all remember back in May, I did a show about Nintendo. Their biggest thing is how do they launch? You know, that was going to be extremely critical. And I don't really know anything they could have done differently. I think it's been a very successful launch for them. So we'll see. I'm just a Metroid fan. Okay. Hey, Jumpy. I love that. How are you? All right. But with that said, let's bring on our first guest. Audi, you're on.
Hello.
What's going on?
Not much, just watching your show.
Hey, let's see, which one do we like better? We like this one better? Let's keep it this one. So what's going on, Audi? So you got a copyright strike on your Twitch stream for streaming Kingdom Hearts.
Not a copyright strike. What Twitch does, if their system detects copyrighted music, it will automatically mute it to avoid the creator from getting a DMCA strike.
Oh, well, okay. And thank you for that, Ambi, for the 5 gifteds. So, that's actually really helpful because on YouTube, I have 2 games particularly. What is it called? Hot Wheels and Mafia 1. I got like those 2 games combined gave me like 30 copyright warnings because like it's like I had to go through erase songs and do stuff, and that was annoying. So if they do it proactively, I don't know if that would be better or worse. I know we showed a movie trailer one time and YouTube like shut down the stream for like 5 minutes. That happened. That was a true story. But haven't done it just for the music though. So what's going on, Audi?
Well, besides that, I've been setting up my new microphone.
Okay, what type of microphone?
I got the Fifine Tank 6.
The Fine Tank 6. Oh, I haven't heard of that. Does it work? Is it nice?
Yeah, it's the microphone that I'm currently using.
Interesting. Never heard of this one. Okay. I get when I look up Define Tank 6, I get things about aquariums and sports bras. So I'm gonna have to re-look this up eventually. To both see the micro and to look at the sports bras. But okay. Cool. So Audi,
put a link on the Discord.
Thank you for that. Thank y'all for using the Discord. Oh, okay. Oh, fine. F-I, not define. Okay, I missed it. I missed the F. Okay, it could go up a little, Audi. Audi, they're saying, could you rate? Maybe I could do it. Maybe I can make Audi a little bit louder. I think I can make Audi just a little bit louder. I should be able to at least. Let me see. Actually, I don't know if I can. I lied, y'all. I lied.
Is that better?
That's better. That is better. Audi is louder. And I can do it. Here we go. We're gonna make it loud. Audi really loud. All right, say something, Audi.
Say something.
Yep, he's louder. I just see the little circle move. Okay, what about now, y'all? What about now? What about now? We made him louder. So Audi,
Yes.
was that the first time you saw the Metroid Prime 4 trailer?
No.
No. So, can you tell us what you do with Metroid Prime 4? Or no, that's secret. That's top secret.
I'm a developer on it.
You're a developer. Okay. Okay. You're like, that's it, Purple. That's all you get.
Yes. Yes, that's all you get.
Well, so as a developer, have you like played it? Or do you don't do that either? You just like, it's like a certain part of it.
I do play it. Yes.
Audi, you're like, that's all I get. I'm not giving you any more. That's fair, Audi. That's fair. That's fair. Is this the first game you've built with Nintendo?
It is.
Okay. And what's that experience been like?
So far I've been enjoying it.
Okay.
Working with them.
Okay. Do you think are you like full time with them, or are you like contracted with them?
Contracted.
Okay. Do you think it's somewhere you might want to try to work with them again, or you're like, that's cool. I got it on the resume. Time to go do something else.
I think I will want to continue working with them. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So you've had a positive experience with them. That's cool. That's super cool. So Geek is going to get a Switch 2 because of Metroid Prime 4. Do you think he will be happy with the game?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
If you enjoy the previous Metroid Prime games, I think you might be surprised with this one.
Oh, that's so cryptic. Audi, that's so cryptic. If you enjoyed the previous ones, you'll be surprised with this one. Hey, Sourflow, what's going on? You'll be surprised with this one. Well, we saw the motorcycle, right? That's different. Or whatever they call it in Metroid World. Are you saying from like can you tell us, will we be surprised from like a gameplay mechanic, or will we be surprised from like a storytelling, like narrative side of things, or both?
Both.
What? So you're saying the story is going to be throwing a surprise at us?
Yes.
Okay. So is it worth it for me to... Okay. Do I need to have played... Okay. Is this a game where I would have had to have played all the other Metroids before it to actually fully grasp it? Or can this one stand alone?
I think you could enjoy this game by playing by itself, but having the previous knowledge will help.
Having previous knowledge. Okay, so like Metroid Prime 4 or Metroid, which one did I play? It starts with I played the side-scrolling one.
Metroid Dread.
Metroid Dread. Okay, so let's say I beat Metroid Dread, because I think I could do that in November. Like if I time my game launches, unlike Simpleton's favorite Hollow Knight there. But let's say, okay, I'm going to give Metroid Dread a shot in November. Would that be enough to get me like caught up enough for Metroid Prime 4?
Yes. But the Prime series within Metroid are all prequels to before Metroid Fusion.
Okay.
So I would recommend playing the Metroid Prime Remaster, which is currently on the Switch for about $39 USD.
I have that one. I do have that. Give me like this. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Audi, stay right there.
Okay.
Okay, Audi, we're back. All right. So you're saying this one. I have this one, right? This is the one you're saying. This one.
Yes.
You're saying play this one before playing. So this one is more important to Metroid Prime 4 than Metroid Dread.
Indeed.
Okay. Y'all, that is actually really important. I don't know if y'all knew that is actually really important because I'm not going to lie, Audi. When I played this game, I get it. It's been updated, but the game, it's weird because you're playing with graphics that are more fidelity, but the game controllers are still very old. But you're saying it's worth it to finish this one before going into Metroid. There you go. Y'all, finish this one first. Finish this one first. And this will help from a story. So okay, in your opinion, can you give us this? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be?
On a scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna have to think.
I would hope you would think on that one.
I'm gonna say about a conservative 8.5.
A conservative 8.5? So you're saying this game is going to be between at the low end at 8.5, at the high end of 10.
Yes.
What? Are you serious? That is like literally.
That is my opinion, though.
That's your opinion because you're working on it, but you think it's going to be that good. You know what's going to be interesting about this? Because this game's going to be launching like a week or two before the Game Awards, which I don't think it's going to be enough time to get it into the Game Awards, right? Like I think this is like Indiana Jones ran into this problem, right? But I don't think Nintendo cares about Game Awards as much, right? I think by launching December 4th, you are going to get those people like Simpleton, or not Simpleton, like Geek, to buy a Switch 2. I think that's the point of this one. And it seems like it is. You're saying they're not going to be let down. You think that, okay, here's the question. Do you think this is a system seller?
It could be.
It could be. Okay. You don't want to expand on that?
No.
He's so cryptic, y'all. All right, let's get to see Simpleton's comment. I hope if they plan on a story, they do Samus correct. Well, there's definitely a story in there. I didn't hit Metroid Other M, but they did nerf Samus. Okay. They need some good female writers if they want to capture Samus properly. I agree with that. But Simpleton, you know, if they put female writers with a female protagonist, that's going to equal woke. You know this, Simpleton. You can't do that. You can't do that. I'm joking, y'all. Y'all know I'm joking on that. Oh my goodness. Well, Audi, I'm super excited. You may have sold the game. You know what you did, Audi, for sure?
Yeah.
For sure, you've told me to go back into this game. Last week, I told people that this is one of the games that like I bought and I wouldn't go back into. But you saying what you said has given me a reason to go back into this game. That's power. That is power. Looks like the casting of Frank Stone is one of the few who will remain in that category. I'm not going back in that game. They had a Switch 2 bundle. You might get me. They do have a Switch 2 bundle. The Mario Kart Switch 2 bundle, Simpleton. You know you want to play with us. You don't want to be up against Clair Obscur this year. You think Clair Obscur wins? It might. It might. I mean, there's still a couple more games coming out. It might win. Ghosts of Yote will probably give it a run. And I think there's a couple of games out, some more games out there that could. It depends on what they look at. I don't know. We'll do a Game Awards prediction stream coming up. I could see some other games giving it a run. I definitely could see some others. In terms of quality, review scores, or reception by the audience. For that one, well, it was Audi. Audi, where did you get to your 8 were you thinking 8.5 as far as quality? What do you think it's going to score based upon the media? Or
quality?
Quality is an 8.5. What do you think the audience is going to give it?
What do I think the audience will give it? Like reviewers or just the average player?
Average player.
Okay. Probably around, I would say no less than a 7.
No less than a 7. So you think the quality is higher than what the average player is going to give it?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. He's being fair, y'all. This is actually fairly fair. And I see you there, Sourblow. Sourblow, you already have it, don't you? You already have it. And when are we going to do our next Mario Kart channel versus channel? We're on to y'all, Sourblow, by the way. Clair Obscur will win hands down. I mean, I hear what y'all are saying. I just feel like there's other games that could give it a run. That's all. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not sure you're right though. Also, Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem did have something come out. No, Metroid bundle, Purple. I know there are other bundles. You want a Metroid bundle? My goodness. You're so
they're
picky.
making a bundle for Pokemon Legends C-A. So
you think,
possible.
yeah. I actually think he'll get it. I think you're right. He will get a bundle for Metroid. Here's the reason why I think he'll get it. Is because Mario Kart had a bundle. Mario Kart's a certain type of player, right? Pokemon has a bundle. Pokemon is a certain type of player. Like, these are franchises that have player bases. Donkey Kong, I don't think had a bundle, but I also think it was like the first time in a long time. I think Donkey Kong was more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? More of a risk. What's that? Yeah, exactly. But I think if you have, like, depending on where you are on the pecking order, like, for sure, you are a system, 100% bona fide system seller. Zelda, right? Mm-hmm. Animal Crossing, Mario. You're like, there's a couple of them in that category. I probably could say Pokemon as well, but those for sure, those will probably get their own dedicated Switch console. Kind of like that one. I don't know. There's somewhere over there on that shelf. There's a Switch 1 Zelda Tears of the Kingdom edition. Then you have your tier right below that, which is like your Mario Kart, your couple of other ones where you will get a bundle. So the game with the Switch. So the first one is the most high category is like you will get a Switch, like special edition Switch. Then you'll get the bundle. And then you'll get like just the launch of a game. So I think, if you ask me, Metroid probably fits in bundle category.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to get its own Switch. I think it's going to get bundle category, which is still good, right?
Yeah.
Resident Evil Requiem, I saw that. Claire Obscura is taking best soundtrack. Man, that'll be best score. It's a tough one this year. The only thing that's hurting Claire Obscura, and when I say hurting it, it's just the politics of the Game Awards. The only thing that I think is hurting Claire Obscura is that it launched in April or March or whenever. Because then there's certain people who are going to be gaming it. And now you have to go back and listen to Claire Obscura. And then you have to listen to right? South of Midnight. South of Midnight was built to win best score. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then there's that other game I was playing that I was like, oh man, that was an amazing song. I have to go look at my Switch. There's another game that has an amazing score as well. What do you think, Audi?
I think Clear Obscure could win best soundtrack. Yeah.
Do you think? What about Game of the Year?
Game of the Year, I think it's too soon to tell.
Ooh, you think something in the next 2 months could outdo it?
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
I forget the name of it. Let me look.
Ooh, Audi's about to give y'all some fire. It's fair, but it's got nothing to do with anything apart from Audi's differential equation running in C++ in the back of his front door. True. I was so busy, I don't even remember the inputs on Mario Kart. Really? Oh my goodness. We've gotten some really good players in there. Like really good. South of Midnight has a great score too. Yeah, it does. But I'm not denying it, Simpleton. Oh, my Switch is down here actually. I have to go look at what I gave. There's another game where I was listening to it and I was like, oh, whoa, that's a really good score. But I can't think of it. Like it's not Shinobi. It's the game I was playing right before. Herdling has a really good score. That's the one I was thinking of. But to your point, like no one, like if I talked to someone about hurdling, they were like, hurdling's not what's hurdling? And so I think that's going to be a very competitive contest this year. Mario Kart has a phenomenal score. But again, I don't think Nintendo cares as much. Like, I think Nintendo, they know their audience. I don't think their audience even knows about the Game Awards. True story. I don't think they do. I don't think your average Mario Kart player, your average Pokemon player, your average Animal Crossing player even knows there's a thing called the Game Awards. So I don't think they necessarily care. And I think all of their games have already won enough prestige that the people who make those games will always say that. Audi, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I think the game that could possibly win Game of the Year is Borderlands 4.
What? You get Borderlands 4?
Yeah. Like if we look besides all of the performance issues.
What? Oh my goodness, Audi. Okay, I didn't mean this is crazy. Okay, Borderlands 4. Oh my goodness. All right, okay. Well, there we go, y'all. Hey, Emily, what's going on? Did you play Claire? The story's great. I saw it, but I think the story is very similar to other games. I don't think the story is as good as. I'll say it like this: I think the story. How do you say that word? Story?
Mhm.
Why am I feeling like that word story? I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Story? Story. I don't know why. I just had this like random like brain meltdown where I couldn't think of the way. I thought Clair Obscure's story is solid, but I think there's other games that tell that same story or a similar story better. Like, that's what I'm going to say. I think what Clair Obscure has going for it, and this is very powerful, is they exceeded expectations. Right? They have the whole entire like narrative that they're this small group of indies, even though it's like all those people are super talented. Small group of indies coming together to make a game, and they produce this this great experience, right? I think that's what's going for them. However, I feel if who makes Final Fantasy? Square Enix? If Square Enix had made Clair Obscure, it wouldn't have got the same recognition as Clair Obscure. I don't even think Clair Obscure... Okay, this is going to sound crazy to y'all. I don't think Clair Obscure is the best indie game this year. How about that? I think Clair Obscure could win Game of the Year, but it will not win Best Indie of the Year. That's my logic.
Mhm.
That's where I'm going with Audi. You want to know what I think will win Best Indie of the Year?
Yeah.
Y'all ready for this? Best in who? Wait. Which one? Who got kicked out? This person. Oh, Audi. Yeah, they don't like your guess. Best indie for this year. In my opinion, it's not even close. It's not even close. Because of what they were. Blueprints.
Okay.
I think Blueprints is best indie. I don't even think it's like close.
I will
Like-
challenge that
Okay.
by saying I think the best indie of this year will be Hades 2.
Hades. Oh my goodness. Talk about another game that is gives like 2 weeks heads up, right?
Mhm.
Hades 2. Ooh. You're right. Who do you think would be bigger? Hades? Because Wit is a Hades player. Hades 2. You're very well right. Because Hades won Game of the Year, right? Oh, we haven't even talked about this. Oh, wow. Hades 2 going up head to head with Silksong. Holy jeez.
I mean, it's possible that it could even get Game of the Year since it's coming out on the Switch on
Oh my
the 25th.
Here's the reason why. I mean, this is actually, you're bringing up a huge point.
Mm-hmm.
Indie Game of the Year is where the battle is, in my opinion. Indie, yeah, like, I totally negated that. I think Indie Game of the Year is going to be that's going to be the battlefield. Like, you have Silksong, you have Hades, you have my all-time favorite, Blueprints, and you have whatchamacallit, Clair Obscure, right? I don't even really want to put Clair Obscure in that category. You technically have a couple of, like, I need to go see what defines indie, right? Is it indie studio or is it indie publisher? Like, is it indie all the way, right? Because you have the game that I did the movie on, that I did a video on, Little Nightmares 3. You know, I haven't even talked about that. You have There was another one that was just coming up. We're totally forgetting. This is going to be a good episode in November, y'all. So this is just a prequel to that November episode, by the way. You know what we're also not mentioning? Split Fiction.
True.
We're not mentioning Split Fiction. That's a powerful one. Wait, y'all are lagging? Whoa, what do you mean? Let me see. Howdy, they're saying our sound is off. What?
Let me check.
Is my sound off? What? My things broke the stream. Hold on. Let me see. Let me do this. All right, what about that, y'all? Let me know. Let me know if that one works, y'all. I did some magic. Let me know if that works, y'all. Let me know if that one's better. Let me know if that's better. Sorry, no worries, Emily. Thanks for the heads up. Let me know if this is better. Out of you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
They said our thing was out of sync. They said I was saying crazy stuff.
Yeah, it seems to be better when I'm watching the stream. Yeah.
So it's better? You can tell it's better? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us know. It's better. Okay. Man.
I have the definition of a indie game.
Okay, indie game for Game Awards?
Not for the Game Awards.
All right. Well, tell us what the definition of an indie is. What are they saying?
Okay. An indie game is a video game developed by an individual or small team, typically without financial or logistical support from a major game publisher.
That's hard. That's hard. Okay, so see, that's hard because I think Hades. Does Hades qualify? That's my thing. Does Hades qualify then? Because isn't Hades made by Supercell or something crazy with the word super in it? Clarisker 10 of 11. Wait. Oh, you're giving us split. Oh, you're giving us the odds. So you're saying Clair Obscur has a 91% chance of winning? I don't know how you did these odds there. Death Stranding 2, 10 over 3. Split Fiction for 25%. This is your first fraction I don't get. I get all these other ones. I don't get that first one. I don't get 10 over 11. Like I get the 10 over 3. That's a 30% chance. I get the 25% chance for Split Fiction. Ghost of Yote, you're giving a 17% chance. And Blueprints, a 15 over 2%. This is indie. I'm saying indie. Indie.
I would say Hades does qualify because the developer and publisher are the same, and the developer...
What's the publisher's name?
Well, it's developed and published by Supergiant Games.
But is it? I thought Supergiant Games was a bigger publisher than that. But maybe not. Okay, let's say let's put them in there. Let's put them in there. Like that's the question. Can you have like we've had situations where we've had indie game of the years who make it into the game of the year conversation. This could be a year. I mean, we didn't even talk about Death Stranding 2. But I think Death Stranding 2, Hades 2, Silk Song 2 all suffer from the same. They're 2.
Yeah.
And I think you got to give the tiebreak to Clair Obscur in that situation. My thing is, I just don't think Clair Obscur. I think Blueprints, as far as like by the definition of indie, Blueprints is a better indie than Clair Obscur, because I think Clair Obscur had more. Like, everybody made such a huge deal about how much the game cost to make Clair Obscur, but you're still talking about tens of millions of dollars, right? Like, you can't say the same thing about Silk Song didn't cost tens of millions of dollars. Blueprints didn't cost tens of millions of dollars. I'm pretty sure Hades isn't going to cost tens of millions of dollars. I don't know, y'all. I don't know.
So Supergiant Games has a employee count of around 25 employees.
Yeah. I still don't think it costs like whatever they're saying Clair Obscur costs, like $40 to $50 million, which, by the way, that's $40-50 million USD, and that's not a developer within the United States. So that money is actually like $100 million somewhere else. But that's neither here nor there. I just don't think it's like a true indie. I just don't think it's true indie.
I would say it more falls around the lines of AA to AAA.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a true I think it was a true AA or baby triple. It's a baby AAA.
Yeah.
Right? It's like saying Black Myth Wukong's an indie. No, Black Myth Wukong's like it didn't get in that category, right? Didn't Take Two. So Hazel Light is indie, but it's published by EA. So it's kind of like I wouldn't put Split Fiction in the indie category. It did win Game of the Year. So I think you're exactly right. I think if we're going off of the big one, all the main competition right now, Split Fiction. Well, Split Fiction is not really a number 2, is it?
I wouldn't even qualify Split Fiction because its publisher is EA.
But what about it being in like the bigger conversation, like game of the big game of the year conversation?
Well, there might have a chance because its previous game that they developed, It Takes Two, was Game of the Year.
Yeah, I think they have a very good chance. Split Fiction. I mean, that's going to be tough to beat. Like, gosh, that's a tough one to beat, y'all. But let me see this other one. But to y'all's point, you're going to look at Clair Obscur with sitting at that 93 Metacritic score. That's. Let me just look at some other things. I think y'all might be right. Yeah, I think y'all like I don't know. I think it wins Game of the Year. I don't think it wins Indie. That's my thing. It's too big. It's too big. That's fair. I'll give you that. I'll give you Clair Obscur wins Game of the Year at the moment. Ambi's probably super pissed off because they are a huge Ghost of Tsushima fan. But I'll give you that. I think it went at a 93. I think that's I think that's good enough to win this year. I think that's good enough to win this year. I don't know if that would have been good enough to win in other years, though. That's where I'll leave that one at. That's where I'll leave it at. That's where I'm going to leave it at. That's where I'm going to leave it at. What else is going on, Audi?
Real quick about Nintendo arguing that a mod is not a game.
Yes.
So I, for the most part, agree. But what happens when a mod it gets too big where it's basically its own game?
Give me the example.
So let's just say, what's a good example? The Create mod for Minecraft.
Ooh.
It adds so many things to Minecraft while keeping the core of it basically the same that one could argue that it could be its own game.
Can you use the mod without owning Minecraft?
Technically no, but it's possible.
Okay, so but is it so I think that's where the differentiation that's where the legal argument of what a game would probably fall on is that you said technically you could, right?
Yeah.
But it's technically not supposed to work that way, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what the legal side of things would say is like theoretically like when you mod a game and you have it, theoretically the reason you can mod it is because you own the game. And that's the reason why you can then use the mod. It's that thing right there that you having to own something else. The mod cannot stand on its own as its own piece of software. Like think of it like that. It can't stand on its own as its own piece of software. Theoretically, it could, but it's not designed that way. That's why they would say a mod's not a game.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that I think Zalek's very passionate about these things. I'm not saying I don't think Pocket Pair. I think Pocket Pair has a winning hand on a lot of issues. I just think in that particular issue, that's a weaker argument.
Yeah. And about Nintendo filing the patent about capturing creatures.
Yeah.
I think that could possibly fall under a legal principle in Japanese law called kari reinu, which is abuse of rights. So Pocket Pair could argue that Nintendo is abusing rights by saying this is too broad, so it shouldn't be applied to this lawsuit.
No, I agree. Like I said, I don't think Nintendo has the argument on some of their patents. Like that's why I think the headline's going to read most likely Pocket Pair is going to win on some of the more like bigger, broader patents. However, I think Nintendo has also arguments as well on their side that aren't as being talked about as much.
Yeah.
But similar to Sony, like Nintendo went for like an injunction, right? Sony went for an injunction. Neither of them are going to get that. What they are going to get, and Nintendo, and this is the difference, Sony wasn't looking to license out anything, right? They rejected Tencent when they came to them. Nintendo is looking out to license because they're the ones who set the precedent on like, they're the ones who said, here are the damages. So in a way, Nintendo's going to kind of like get what they wanted from the beginning, which is some recognition and some compensation for utilizing their whatnot. Pocket Pair, had this not happen, was not going to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So in that way, you're like, okay, like what is the actual outcome? As we're in the Sony Tencent argument, it's different because Tencent all along wanted to license something, but Sony was like, no, we don't want to play ball with you. And we're trying to shut down your game. So that's kind of, I think, where the difference is in the two game, like I don't know about how you want to see it, but kind of how they're going to keep score at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. I know Zaylik's probably fuming at me. She's like, I can't listen to this anymore.
Rosser, is my audio better?
I put him up as loud as he can go.
Okay, yeah. Because I went to settings, even though I changed it the last time, I went to advanced and turn on high resolution audio, which bumps up the audio from my microphone to 256 kilobytes.
Nice. Nintendo's also looking at it from an invention, patent, game mechanic POV versus Sony's looking at it from a copyright infringement, role, plot, visual style. Yeah. Well, I think Nintendo also has a couple of other ones. Like I said, I think, yeah, they're definitely in both, just like both of them. And it's really about the future game. They're trying to set precedent now. And if you were to ask me, and I'll just give you, who is going to take the bigger loss versus who's going to take between the two that are suing, right? Because I think at the end of the day, Tencent and Pocket Pair are going to still release their game, right?
Yeah.
So it's now who's going to take the bigger loss between Sony versus Nintendo, and I think the bigger loss is Sony. I think Sony takes the bigger loss.
Well, Sony and Pocket Pair.
Well, I don't think Pocket Pair takes too much of a loss. I think Pocket Pair is just, as I said before, they're going to still release the game. They're going to have to pay some monetary damages, but they're going to still release the game. I say Sony takes the bigger loss versus Nintendo because Sony did not want to have anything to do with Light of Mortrium. And Light of Mortrium is going to probably do really, really well in China. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Sony already has a game that's similar enough to Light of Mortrium, which now you have to see, like, okay, is that market, can they not sell in that market, which is one of the few gaming markets that's actually still kind of growing significantly. As for Nintendo's just trying to play a game for the future. Like, they don't have a game out there like Power World. I guess they do in a way, but not really. No one's really gonna, like, they're still gonna sell millions of, like, Jaw is buying a Switch 2 just because of Pokemon. So Pokemon's still gonna buy all that, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, Nintendo's IP is still super well known. This is why they're suing on, like, game mechanics, which is actually, at the end of the day, kind of like a lowbrow type of lawsuit, in my opinion, to begin with. And so it's like, in Nintendo's mind, I think they're like, yeah, we were never really going to lose out on anything. If anything, we have something to gain. As where I really do feel Sony does lose out on something just by having the game of Light of Mortrium out. True, half of the law is legal precedent, not just what's written in the law books. Yep. Sony went too broad. Nintendo went too narrow. I would say, you think Nintendo went too narrow? I thought Nintendo went too broad. I think they both went. Or is that the other way around, Marcus? Let's see. Maybe. I think they both are. I think Sony just, this is not a fight Sony, right? Like, Sony, this is a fight that I think, that's another thing. Even though Sony's bringing the lawsuit and Nintendo's bringing the lawsuit, I think Tencent wanted the fight. Does that make sense? Tencent wanted to bring Sony to the negotiation table. And if you already went to Sony to say, can we license this out? And Sony said, nah. And then you're like, okay, well, we know how to bring you to the negotiation table. And it forces Tencent's hand to sue. This is why I feel like Sony loses. Because they didn't want to be in this situation, period. Nintendo, they are launching the lawsuit. Like, right? Pocket Pair wasn't like, oh, yeah, we have that Pikachu looking thing that looks like Pikachu. They weren't going to say anything to Nintendo. You know what I mean? They're like, we don't even, what do you mean a cease and desist letter? Everybody saw that was like, yo, they're going to get sued. The fact that Nintendo went about it this way just makes me think like Nintendo's just seeing how strong are their patents for the future and how strong do they need to make them going on in the future. Like, I think that's all this is. Like, this is more, one is like an exercise and one is a reluctant battle. But it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. That's my take on the two.
Well, the patent about capturing creatures is filed in the US, not in Japan, where the case is happening currently. So Nintendo can't even use that patent in Japanese court.
You bring up a good point. I think Nintendo's just playing with like house money. Like, I don't think that this is the fact that Power World is on PC, not on Nintendo. Like, there's so many things where I just feel like Nintendo. It's like the Nintendo sued a restaurant called like Mario.
Yeah,
like that was the restaurant name. It was like Mario. They lost that one, by the way, right?
Mhm.
They lost that lawsuit. Was that lawsuit really about shutting down this company called Mario?
No.
No, right? Like that. No, like they are trying to see, like that's all they have is IP. And they are just trying to showcase like where is that line? And that's both it's not really defensive, it's more offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Prep, you're at the end of the telescope opposite of too. Oh my goodness. All right, Audi. Well, Audi, are you a member?
Yeah, I am.
You are? All right. Well, for everybody who's a member, I am about to switch over to the member live stream. And I will be talking about, if you haven't seen it, the Little Nightmares thing and my other whatever other take show I want. Does that work for you, Audi?
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right. So let me do this. Let's see if I can do this the same way I did it before. We're going to send you all there. We're going to schedule this right now. So we're going to do this in 5 minutes, y'all. 5 minutes. That's really weird. So it's at 5:01. So in 5 minutes, we're going to go over there. So in 4 minutes, I'm going to shut down this stream. Let me see if I can go to my live. Does it show that I have a live coming? Let me see this. No. Does it? No. So I'm going to have to like, when this one goes live. Oh yeah, it goes members only video. Okay, it's down there on that shelf. So if you're a member and you go to the members only shelf, you'll see it. Y'all don't, I need it because I got to go find the chat. So let me open this up and let me go find this chat. That's what we found out. I do think this is a cool little feature for the members. So yeah, so we're going to do that. We're going to do that here in a second. U.S. agency has got it. Basically, you can get whatever you want at the moment. And there are all the experience has left. All the talent has been let go and funding cuts and hiring freezes. World is ending. I see a little timer. What does it say? It says 3:39 on my end. Yeah, I think we'll see. We can talk about that if y'all want. Like, I don't want to, on the main one, I don't want to talk about some of that type of stuff. I want to talk about some of that stuff on the member one, just because I think that's more like, I don't know. It gives the members a little bit more of my insight. And that's what I said I was going to try to do. I said I was going to try to do that. But yeah. Well, Audi, any last things? And then I'm going to wrap this one up with my last little few minutes.
No.
No, not yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you want Audi, I will drop a link on the next one if you want to hop on that, on any of the stuff I talk about. Or Wit, because I know Wit's actually watched the video, but anybody. But we'll talk about that on the, y'all. If you're a member and you're in chat, you can just stay still. Nothing's gonna happen to you. But for Audi, definitely thanks for coming, and I'll see you in the other stream. That sound good for you? Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right. Later, y'all. That's Audi. He is a Twitch stream. Well, he's streaming on a lot of stuff, and he's getting his microphone, his camera, his virtual streamer extraordinaire. He's doing a lot of that stuff. So that is Audi. And like I said, I am going to most likely talk about, like I said, the Little Nightmares, making it at least, how that went, and kind of some of my future projects that have to deal with that, as well as if I don't know, I'm going to touch on some of the more like touchy stuff. If y'all ask me, I will. But if you don't, I'm not going to volunteer it. No pressure. If you're like, I want you, you could send me a message into Discord. If you're like, Purple, can you touch on this? Because you don't want to ask it in chat, and I'll address it. But most of y'all know each other, but I do want to make it there. I don't want it to put like everybody needs to like see what you're asking. I can do that as well. But yeah, as the timer goes down a little bit, I'm just trying to get it there. It's showing a minute 7 for me. So in about 30 seconds, I'm going to do, actually, I'll do it now. I'm going to do it now. All right. So with that said, I'll see y'all, everybody else who's not a member. Thanks so much for coming by. Everybody who is a member, just sit tight. And with that said, I don't care where you game, how you game, why you game, what you game on, how long you've been gaming. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, this is Purple Haze, and the proof is in the plane. All right. Take care, y'all. I'll see you on the other side.